Welcome to our kitchen. Today we're diving into the world of soups and recipes that will warm your heart and tantalize your taste buds. We've got a bloody brilliant lineup today, from the classics that never disappoint to some recipes with a bit of flair to elevate your cooking. Listen up, because I'm about to show you how to make soups so good they'll make you want to slap your mama. Let's get cooking. All right, you food lovers. Today we're diving into a dish that is as comforting as a warm hug on a cold day. Let's start with a classic chicken noodle soup. This isn't just any soup, it's the epitome of comfort food, a timeless dish that has been passed down through generations. This is the soup that makes you feel better after a long day, the one that warms you up from the inside out. It's like a bowl of happiness, bringing a smile to your face with every spoonful. The soup your granny used to make, filled with love and care. It's a recipe that carries memories of family gatherings and cozy evenings. The soup that never ever goes out of style. It's a staple in kitchens around the world, a dish that transcends cultures and generations. First, we need a good quality chicken stock. This is the foundation of our soup, providing a rich and flavorful base that will make all the difference. Don't even think about using that nasty stuff from a cube. We're aiming for depth and authenticity here, and that means no shortcuts. We're going for flavor, and that means starting with the best ingredients. Fresh vegetables, high-quality chicken, and aromatic herbs are key. Next, we'll brown some chicken pieces in a bit of olive oil. This step is crucial as it adds a layer of complexity to the soup. Get some color on them. You want that golden brown goodness to add depth to the soup. The caramelization brings out the natural sweetness of the chicken. Once the chicken is browned, add in your chopped onions, carrots, and celery. These vegetables form the backbone of our soup, providing a balance of sweetness and earthiness. We're going for a mirepoix here, the holy trinity of flavor. This combination is the secret to a deeply flavorful broth. Now pour in that beautiful chicken stock and let it simmer. This is where the magic happens, as all the flavors meld together. Low and slow, that's the key to a good soup. Patience is essential here, allowing the ingredients to release their full potential. While that's simmering, cook your noodles separately. This ensures they maintain their texture and don't become mushy. We don't want soggy noodles in our soup, do we? Draining them separately keeps them perfectly al dente. Once the vegetables are tender and the chicken is cooked through, shred the chicken and add it back to the pot along with your cooked noodles. This step ensures every bite is filled with tender chicken and perfectly cooked noodles. Season with salt, pepper, and a touch of fresh parsley. These final touches elevate the soup, adding brightness and a hint of freshness. There you have it, a classic chicken noodle soup that's absolutely divine. Perfect for any occasion, this soup is sure to become a favorite in your household. Next up, we're turning up the heat with a hearty tomato basil soup. This isn't just any soup, it's a symphony of flavors that will warm your soul and tantalize your taste buds. Perfect for a cozy night in or impressing guests at a dinner party. This soup is bursting with flavor thanks to the fresh ingredients and a few secret touches that elevate it to the next level. And it's so easy to make, you won't believe how quickly it comes together. Whether you're a seasoned chef or a kitchen novice, this recipe is foolproof. Even a culinary challenged idiot sandwich could manage it. So let's dive right in and get cooking. Start by sautéing some onions and garlic in olive oil until they're soft and fragrant. This forms the aromatic base of our soup, infusing it with a rich, savory depth. Now add in your tomatoes. The quality of your tomatoes can make or break this dish, so choose wisely. Use fresh tomatoes if you can find them, as they bring a vibrant, natural sweetness to the soup. But canned diced tomatoes work just as well, especially when fresh ones are out of season. They are convenient and still pack a punch of flavor. Now here's where we add a touch of magic, a teaspoon of sugar. This might seem unusual, but trust me, it makes all the difference. Don't look at me like that. You need a bit of sweetness to balance out the acidity of the tomatoes. It's a small step that brings harmony to the dish. Trust me on this one, your taste buds will thank you. Pour in some vegetable broth, bring it to a boil. The broth adds a savory backbone to the soup, enhancing the flavors of the tomatoes and aromatics. Then reduce the heat and let it simmer for about 20 minutes. This simmering time allows the flavors to meld together, creating a harmonious blend. This will give the flavors a chance to really meld together. The longer it simmers, the more intense and delicious the soup becomes. Once it's simmered, use an immersion blender to blend the soup until it's smooth and creamy. This step transforms the texture, making it velvety and luxurious. If you don't have an immersion blender, you can use a regular blender. Just be sure to blend in batches to avoid any hot soup mishaps. But be careful. Hot soup has a tendency to erupt like a volcano. Safety first, folks. Finally, stir in some fresh basil leaves and season with salt and pepper to taste. The basil adds a fresh, herbaceous note that complements the tomatoes beautifully. There you have it, a hearty tomato basil soup that's absolutely bursting with flavor. Serve it hot with a side of crusty bread and enjoy the comforting, delicious goodness in every spoonful. Rich and velvety mushroom soup. This will make you close your eyes. Get ready for a taste sensation. This rich and velvety mushroom soup is so good, it'll make you want to close your eyes and savor every single spoonful. We're using a mixture of mushrooms for this soup: cremini, shiitake, and oyster mushrooms. Don't be afraid to experiment with different types of mushrooms. The more the merrier. Heat some butter and olive oil in a large pot and add in your mushrooms. Sauté them over medium heat until they're golden brown and slightly crispy. We want to caramelize those mushrooms, that's where the flavor is. Add in some chopped onions and garlic and cook until softened. Now sprinkle in some flour and cook for a minute or two. This will help to thicken the soup. Slowly whisk in some vegetable broth and heavy cream, making sure there are no lumps. Bring the soup to a boil, then reduce the heat and let it simmer for about 15 minutes. Finally, use an immersion blender to blend the soup until it's silky smooth. Season with salt, pepper, and a touch of nutmeg. There you have it, a rich and velvety mushroom soup that will knock your socks off. Zesty and refreshing gazpacho. Perfect for a summer scorcher. Feeling the heat? This zesty and refreshing gazpacho is the perfect antidote to a scorching summer day. It's light, it's flavorful, and it's best served ice cold. Chop up some ripe tomatoes, cucumbers, red onion, and bell peppers. Don't be shy, we want this soup to be chunky and full of texture. Toss the chopped vegetables into a blender along with some garlic, stale bread, trust me on this one, olive oil, balsamic vinegar, and a pinch of salt and pepper. Blend it all together until it's smooth, but don't overblend it. We want to retain some of that chunky goodness. Taste the gazpacho and adjust the seasonings as needed. You might want to add a bit more for balsamic vinegar extra zing, or a touch of sugar to balance out the acidity. Cover the gazpacho and refrigerate it for at least an hour before serving. This will allow the flavors to really come together. Serve the gazpacho in chilled bowls and garnish with a drizzle of olive oil, some chopped fresh herbs, and a few croutons for crunch. There you have it, a zesty and refreshing gazpacho that's perfect for a hot summer day. Comforting butternut squash soup, warm and delicious. Last but not least, we're finishing with a comforting butternut squash soup that's perfect for those chilly evenings when you need a bit of warmth and comfort. This soup is not only delicious, but also incredibly nourishing, making it an ideal choice for a cozy night in. The rich, velvety texture combined with the sweet and savory flavors of butternut squash will make this a favorite in your household. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. This step is crucial as it ensures that the butternut squash roasts evenly, bringing out its natural sweetness and making it tender and easy to blend later on. Have a butternut squash lengthwise and scoop out the seeds. This can be a bit tricky, so take your time and use a sturdy spoon to remove all the seeds and stringy bits. The cleaner the squash, the smoother your soup will be. Drizzle the cut sides with olive oil and season with salt and pepper. The olive oil helps to caramelize the edges of the squash, adding a depth of flavor, while the salt and pepper enhance its natural taste. Place the squash halves cut side down on a baking sheet and roast for about 45 minutes or until tender. Roasting the squash this way allows it to cook evenly and develop a rich caramelized flavor that will be the base of your soup. While the squash is roasting, sauté some chopped onions and garlic in a large pot until softened. The onions and garlic form the aromatic foundation of the soup, adding layers of flavor and a wonderful aroma that fills your kitchen. Add in some chopped apples and ginger for a touch of sweetness and warmth. The apples add a subtle sweetness that complements the butternut squash, while the ginger adds a gentle heat and complexity to the soup. Once the squash is roasted and cooled slightly, scoop out the flesh and add it to the pot with the onions, apples, and ginger. The roasted squash should be tender and easy to scoop, blending seamlessly with the other ingredients. Pour in some vegetable broth and bring the soup to a boil. The broth helps to meld all the flavors together, creating a harmonious and well-balanced soup. Reduce the heat and let it simmer for about 15 minutes, or until the flavors have melded together. This simmering time allows the ingredients to fully integrate, resulting in a rich and flavorful soup. Use an immersion blender to blend the soup until it's smooth and creamy. If you don't have an immersion blender, you can use a regular blender, but be sure to blend in batches to avoid overfilling. Season with salt, pepper, and a pinch of nutmeg. The nutmeg adds a warm, slightly sweet spice that enhances the overall flavor of the soup. Serve the soup hot, garnished with a dollop of crème fraîche or sour cream and a sprinkle of toasted pumpkin seeds. These toppings add a creamy texture and a delightful crunch, making each bite a perfect blend of flavors and textures. There you have it, a comforting butternut squash soup that's sure to warm your heart and soul. This soup is not just a meal, it's an experience, a way to bring warmth and comfort to your loved ones. Enjoy every spoonful and savor the rich, comforting flavors that make this dish truly special. Thanks for joining us on this culinary adventure. We've covered a lot of ground today, from classic comfort food to bold and flavorful creations. Remember, cooking is all about experimenting and having fun in the kitchen. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty and try new things. And most importantly, always cook with passion. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more delicious recipes. Happy cooking!